I couldn't believe it. Standing there on the grand stage of the National Culinary Awards, the spotlight hitting my face, the judges holding their applause for a moment too long. My hands were shaking, my heart hammering, and in the crowd my mom. Emily Prescott. The woman who had spent years telling me I'd never make it, who mocked my homemade pies, laughed at my soufflés, and told me my dreams were cute but pointless. And now, here I was, clutching the gleaming golden chef's trophy, hearing my name echo across the auditorium. The whispers, the awe, the claps from strangers who actually believed in me. It was intoxicating. I could see her jaw drop, her face pale, that smug confidence replaced by disbelief. This was my moment, my victory, my silent revenge. What would you do if someone you loved constantly doubted your dreams, laughed at your talent, and told you you'd never succeed? Comment below. I want to know how you'd handle proving them wrong. Before that stage, my life had been ordinary. I was 16 when I first realized that cooking wasn't just a hobby. It was my passion, my escape. Every afternoon after school, I'd rush to the kitchen in our small suburban home in Cedar Rapids, Iowa, experimenting with recipes, tweaking flavors, and dreaming of one day standing in a real chef's kitchen. My best friend, Zoe Miller, was the only one who truly got it. She'd taste every new creation, nod enthusiastically, and tell me, "Ellie, you're going to blow everyone away one day." But not my mom. Emily Prescott had a way of draining all my confidence with a single sentence. "Cooking won't get you anywhere, Ellie," she'd sneer, folding her arms and eyeing the mess I left behind. "Why don't you focus on something practical?" Even when I baked cookies that friends raved about, she'd shrug and mutter, "Cute, but don't get your hopes up." It wasn't just dismissive, it was humiliating. Family dinners were her stage, and I was the clown, presenting my meals only to hear her critique, sometimes in front of relatives. She didn't just doubt me, she actively made me feel like I was incapable. I'd tried explaining how much I loved cooking, even enrolled in a weekend culinary program secretly, hoping she'd notice. But she didn't. She only said, "Stop wasting your time. You'll never be a chef." That was the exact moment the seed of determination was planted. If she thought I couldn't do it, I would prove her wrong, and not just in small ways. I would win. And that thought burned brighter every day. The more Emily belittled me, the smaller I felt. And yet, somewhere in that humiliation, a fire started. I remember nights sitting at my bedroom desk, scribbling recipes in a worn notebook, tasting and retasting sauces until my tongue burned. I would watch cooking shows on mute, practicing knife skills and plating techniques while my mom scrolled through social media, occasionally rolling her eyes at my wasting time. Every failure, every comment, every sarcastic remark she threw my way chipped away at my confidence, or at least that's what she thought. I often tried to confront her. "Mom, I really want to try the culinary program in Chicago," I'd say, heart pounding. Her reply was always the same. "Ellie, you don't have what it takes. Stop embarrassing yourself." I'd leave the room stifling tears, the weight of her words pressing on my chest. Friends like Zoe and my mentor, Chef Lucas Whitman, became my lifeline. They reminded me that my talent was real and that her doubt didn't define me. I started entering local contests in secret, bake-offs, community events, small culinary challenges. Every small win felt exhilarating, yet incomplete because I couldn't share it with the person whose opinion mattered most, or so I thought. By the time I turned 22, I had spent years quietly honing my skills. My apartment smelled of rosemary and roasted garlic, my shelves stacked with cookbooks from Julia Child to contemporary American chefs, my knives perfectly sharpened. I learned to carry myself with confidence, though inside, the tension between wanting my mother's approval and wanting to prove her wrong simmered constantly. And then came the whisper of an opportunity one couldn't ignore, the National Culinary Awards. Entering meant confronting Emily, facing her doubts head-on. My heart raced at the thought, but the anger, the humiliation, and the burning need for vindication pushed me forward. Every slight she had ever thrown at me fueled my determination. This wasn't just about cooking anymore. This was about proving to myself, and to Emily Prescott, that I was unstoppable. I knew I couldn't just walk onto that stage and hope to impress. This was war, and I had to prepare like a soldier. Every evening, after Emily had gone to bed, I'd retreat to my tiny kitchen, turning it into my private battleground. I experimented with flavors, tested plating techniques, and recreated dishes from famous chefs, pushing myself beyond what I thought possible. I even signed up for a few high-level workshops in Chicago, pretending they were just for fun, whenever my mom asked. Behind her back, I was networking with culinary instructors, refining my skills, and secretly building a portfolio that could rival any seasoned chef. Every recipe I mastered, every technique I perfected, was a quiet middle finger to the woman who'd spent my whole life doubting me. I began envisioning the moment I would finally stand in front of her and show her that all her criticism had done was fuel my success. The plan wasn't just to win a trophy. It was to make her witness my victory, to see the pride and disbelief in her eyes. But I kept the details close to my chest, savoring the suspense. After all, the sweetest revenge is the one they never see coming. The day of the National Culinary Awards arrived, and I could feel my pulse thrumming in my ears as I stepped onto the polished stage. The auditorium buzzed with excitement, cameras flashing, judges whispering among themselves. Emily Prescott sat in the front row, arms crossed, her lips pressed into a thin line. I could feel her skepticism radiating, and for the first time, it fueled me instead of intimidating me. I moved with precision, confidence replacing the doubt that had shadowed me for years. Each dish I presented was a culmination of countless nights of practice: the perfect sear on the duck breast, the delicate drizzle of balsamic reduction, the meticulous arrangement of microgreens. When I placed the final dessert, a chocolate soufflé with raspberry coulis, in front of the judges, the room fell silent. Then came the applause. Warm, thunderous, undeniable. I turned toward the audience, eyes scanning until I found Emily. Her jaw had dropped. Her arms slowly fell to her sides. I could almost hear her mind racing. How did she? The judges announced my name. Ellie Harper, winner of the National Culinary Awards. The applause intensified, camera flashes strobing like lightning. My chest swelled with vindication. I held the golden trophy high, savoring the moment. The woman who once belittled my dreams now sat frozen, unable to speak, unable to dismiss my accomplishment. I smiled, a slow, triumphant smile, not out of cruelty, but out of relief, empowerment, and undeniable victory. Years of doubt, humiliation, and quiet determination had led to this instant. Every sarcastic remark, every rolled eye, every "you'll never make it" had been transformed into fuel. Emily Prescott had unknowingly crafted her own defeat, and I had risen stronger, unshakable, and finally recognized for the talent she refused to see. Standing in my apartment that evening, trophy gleaming on the kitchen counter, I finally let myself breathe. The adrenaline had faded, leaving a quiet, satisfying hum of accomplishment. Winning the National Culinary Awards wasn't just about the recognition. It was about reclaiming my confidence, validating years of effort, and proving to myself that I was capable of more than anyone, even my own mother, had ever imagined. Looking back, I realized something important. Revenge wasn't about making Emily feel small or embarrassed. It was about showing myself my own worth, about turning doubt and humiliation into motivation rather than allowing it to crush me. Every harsh word she'd thrown my way had forced me to grow stronger, more determined, and more focused. Her disbelief had inadvertently guided me toward mastery, shaping the chef I had become. I also learned to separate validation from approval. For years, I had equated my mother's praise with my own success. Now I understood that true confidence comes from within. The trophy, the applause, and the recognition were sweet, but the real victory was in knowing that I could trust myself, rely on my abilities, and pursue my dreams unapologetically. And while Emily might never fully acknowledge my accomplishments, it didn't matter anymore. I had learned to transform negativity into fuel, disappointment into determination, and criticism into opportunity. My story wasn't just about cooking. It was about resilience, self-respect, and finding empowerment in places where doubt once lived. Life after the awards felt surreal at first. Invitations to cook at prestigious events poured in, and my calendar quickly filled with workshops, interviews, and guest chef appearances. My small apartment kitchen had transformed into a professional studio space where I experimented with flavors, hosted intimate cooking classes, and even started planning my first cookbook. Every opportunity that came my way felt like a testament to the years of perseverance and quiet rebellion against doubt. Emily Prescott, of course, remained a complicated figure in my life. She didn't apologize, didn't call, and rarely attended my events. And for the first time, I realized that I didn't need her validation anymore. My confidence had been forged in fire, in countless nights of practice, the sting of criticism, and the unyielding belief that I could rise above. Friends like Zoe and mentors like Chef Lucas celebrated alongside me, reinforcing that true support comes from those who believe in your potential, not those who criticize it. I also found joy in mentoring young aspiring chefs, encouraging them to pursue their passions even when the people closest to them doubted them. Standing in my kitchen one evening, whisk in hand, I felt an overwhelming sense of empowerment. I had taken the pain of years of rejection and turned it into accomplishment, passion, and a career I loved. The trophy on my counter was a symbol, yes, but the real victory was the confidence and resilience I had gained. I had proven that talent, determination, and self-belief could conquer even the harshest critics, even a mother who had once said I couldn't cook. Sometimes, the sweetest revenge isn't about hurting those who doubted you. It's about proving to yourself that you're capable of more than anyone ever imagined. I learned that the approval I'd been chasing from Emily Prescott was never as important as the confidence I found within myself. Every burned souffle, every harsh comment, every long night of practice was worth it because it led me here, stronger, fulfilled, and unstoppable. Now I want to hear from you. Have you ever turned doubt or criticism into your own fuel for success? Share your story in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more real stories of triumph and empowerment.